ladies and gentlemen, the ongoing conflict in the Amhara region between the Ethiopian National Defense Force, ENDF, and the Amhara Fano forces is a matter of significant concern, with various reports indicating a potentially imminent conclusion to the conflict, one in which the Fano forces are emerging as the probable victors, challenging the Ethiopian military and its leadership. This conflict is rapidly approaching its conclusion and has led to a profound sense of embarrassment for Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed and his top military generals, who have been implicated in alleged war crimes against civilians in multiple regions. Let's delve into a more in-depth analysis of the situation by highlighting a few critical points that underscore the miscalculations made by the top military and political leadership, including the country's highest-ranking individual. 1. The historical significance of FANO. One major miscalculation by the government and military leaders was their decision to perceive FANO as an enemy entity. The term FANO embodies core values such as liberty, freedom, justice, and equality. It is a concept that resonates deeply with the Ethiopian people, reflecting their indigenous knowledge and their commitment to safeguarding their families, land, and country. The term FANO carries immense historical and cultural significance, making it inclusive and appealing to a broad spectrum of Ethiopians. People from all corners of the country can identify with it almost instantaneously, hence the popular phrase, "I am Fano." Unfortunately, the government's unwise approach in antagonizing FANO has led to the alienation and mobilization of many against the government. Some individuals within the government even tried to substitute the term with other names like Jawusa, Shifta, and Zarafi, but these efforts failed to diminish the significance of FANO. 2. Underestimating the resilience of the Amhara people. A critical error in judgment was the assumption that the Amhara people could easily be disarmed by force. Prominent military leaders, such as General Ababor, publicly declared their intention to disarm the population within a mere 10 working days. However, reality has proven far different as 6 months have passed, and the military is in fact losing weapons to FANO at an alarming rate. The Amhara people have a deeply rooted belief in the need to possess firearms, which they have historically used to protect their families, communities, property, and the nation for centuries. This profound belief in the right to bear arms is akin to the Second Amendment in the United States, where people are prepared to sacrifice their lives to protect this fundamental right. Attempting to forcibly confiscate firearms from such a determined and resilient population was a colossal miscalculation. A more constructive approach would have been engaging in civilized discourse about the rule of law with the Amhara people over the past 6 months, rather than deploying the military deep into rural areas where confrontations have escalated into a protracted and violent conflict involving heavy weapons and drones. Underestimating the power of propaganda and public diplomacy, the leadership of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed appears to have underestimated the significance of digital diplomacy, propaganda, and public relations in maintaining power over the past 5 years. They seem to have misconstrued their own role in shaping a positive narrative and instead attribute their success to personal cleverness. In reality, a substantial portion of the Ethiopian diaspora played a pivotal role in supporting the government through various means, including public and digital diplomacy, as well as financial and moral backing. However, this support has now shifted dramatically. Today, an overwhelming majority of Ethiopians have identified the government as the main antagonist, viewing it as unfaithful and unstable, failing to protect its citizens, especially women and children. Digital activists, social media influencers, and independent media outlets have rallied under the banner of Fano, relentlessly scrutinizing and condemning Abiy Ahmed and his military generals for their alleged strategies and actions in the conflict. The government's efforts to control the narrative by imprisoning dissidents within the country have proven insufficient to suppress the diaspora Fanos, who continue to exert substantial influence through their online presence. This digital war has become a relentless battle of ideas and information, where the virtual Fanos are consistently outpacing the government's efforts to maintain control over the narrative. 4. Fano warriors' high moral ground. One of the crucial aspects that have contributed to Fano's remarkable resilience and strength in this conflict is the high moral ground they stand on. History has shown that when a group of individuals fights for noble virtues like justice, freedom, and equality, their warriors are often highly motivated and possess an extraordinary inner strength derived from their commitment to these principles. Such fighters can endure and persist through excruciating challenges as they perceive their suffering as a small price to pay for the pursuit of a just cause. Fano has vividly demonstrated this moral high ground to the world. Even in the face of scarcity and hardship, they have refrained from resorting to criminal activities such as robbing banks, harassing civilians, or engaging in acts of sexual violence. In contrast, the Ethiopian military's actions have largely contradicted these principles. Many soldiers within the government's ranks are reportedly grappling with a loss of morale and ethical conflicts. They understand that they are often targeting the wrong people, as they vividly recall how Fano fighters once supported them during their conflict with the TPLF, Tigray People's Liberation Front. The people of the Amhara region were a significant source of support during that time, which makes it deeply ironic that the military is now confronting those very individuals who previously saved them from a major embarrassment. Consequently, a growing number of soldiers are showing reluctance to continue fighting, and both the generals and the rank-and-file soldiers have experienced a notable decline in their will, strength, and courage to engage in combat. Their lack of passion and commitment is evident because they are increasingly aware that they are not just fighting a war, but are part of a larger moral and ethical dilemma. 5. Fano's strong popular support. Ezekiel Gabiso, an insightful Oromo thinker, succinctly stated that the army cannot defeat Fano as they have the support of the people. Unfortunately, the government leaders did not display the sagacity to grasp this fundamental truth early in the conflict. They mistakenly believed that they could manipulate and deceive the Amhara people through dishonest tactics. However, the Amhara, like other Ethiopians, are a patient and discerning populace. They carefully listen to the words spoken by their leaders and watch their actions. While they may forgive initial transgressions, repeated deceit and betrayal erode their trust and support. Over time, these leaders and their political entities become tainted and repugnant in the eyes of the people. In the current Ethiopian context, the Prosperity Party, which Abiy Ahmed leads, is viewed with great disdain by the Amhara people. The majority are eagerly anticipating the day when they can finally hear the news of the party's demise. Conversely, the people have rallied behind Fano. They provide extensive support to Fano fighters through various means. Any government, regardless of its power and resources, cannot hope to achieve victory by fighting against its entire population. In this regard, the government was effectively defeated at the outset of this unjust war. In conclusion, the Prime Minister initiated this conflict under the influence of Oromo elites, who openly asserted that the primary obstacle to their dominance lay within the Amhara community, and they aimed to suppress this resistance. Believing they could replicate their victory over the TPLF, which had dominated Ethiopian politics and governance for 3 decades, they rushed into this ill-conceived venture. Now they find themselves with very limited time to rectify their fatal mistake. The repercussions of their actions will undoubtedly be etched in the annals of Ethiopia's history. Fano, it appears, is poised to usher in a new chapter for Ethiopia and its people, signaling the potential transformation of the nation's political landscape.